Hi, Soulfit family. I just want to introduce you to someone very special. This is Arturo. Arturo, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your name? What do you do? How did you get here? You're living in Medellin. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Okay, my experience in the first of all, I am a Marine veteran. Did 5 years in the military, got out, started living with a friend. He got engaged. He told me, "Hey man, you gotta bounce and bring my girl in." So I was forced to buy a house, which was like the best thing because I bought it for like 91 grand and I sold it for 273, and then I started flipping houses. Okay, so I got into real estate. After real estate, I got into coaching. So now I do coaching. To be specific, I do marketing for coaches. So I do the whole back end.
Cool. And how did you end up in Colombia?
How
What
did I-
about it like drew you to the city?
So I've been to a lot of places. Okay,
Yeah.
I've been to Hungary, I've been to Albania, I've been to Kosovo, Italy, Spain. I travel a lot. And Colombia, the culture in Colombia, people are very united. The culture is very different. You know, I'm from Peru, including my country. My country, the people are very into themselves. Like if you're not part of their circle, it's like, hey, back off. So the culture here in Colombia, they like to help you. They're very nice, very cordial. So that's what drew me to Colombia. I got friends that are entrepreneurs. They live here. They've been living here for years. So, yeah.
Amazing. Also, you mentioned earlier before the interview that you started a podcast.
Correct.
What inspired you to start a podcast, and what is the podcast about?
Okay, I'll be honest. What inspired me to start a podcast? What inspired me was the fact that right now, because obviously, I'm Peruvian, but I was raised in the U.S. Okay, I went to the U.S. when I was 9 years old, so I'm, practically American. So Medellin has a lot of bad rep from foreigners. Okay, why? Because a lot of foreigners are coming here for the girls. A lot of foreigners are coming here to, hey, because girls are beautiful. Colombian, the culture, the girls are beautiful. Okay, but what's happening? American guys come over here, and to be honest with you, most Americans, they're not looked up in the U.S. Like over there is more Hispanic because you got the sauce, whatever. So they come over here, and now they're like King Solomon here. Okay, so what happens? They're getting into prostitution. They get a lot of escorts, and why? Because there's a lot of need in Colombia. So what inspired me to start? What your initial question? Inspired me to start the podcast because I wanna expose and change this girl's mindset. For example, my podcast is about money and girls. Okay, so again, being a podcast, I interview OnlyFans, I interview girls on the streets, I interview successful entrepreneurs. Okay, and I try to open their mind. Okay, I've been an entrepreneur since 2012. Okay, I haven't held a job since 2012, and I just like to talk to these people to see what gets them there. Most of them, they want, every stuff everywhere. Okay, but you make a choice for the easy way out. And if you have a choice for the easy way out, you lack faith on how can your life be better. You say, hey, easy way out. It takes no time to show your body. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of men out there that they're just, hey, don't pay a couple bucks to see somebody naked. So if for me is to change, I want to say the narco culture. Okay, because that comes from the narco. The narco, they made older girls. They pay for their boobs, their ass, whatever, so they want to have the finest girls. So that culture had transparent until now. So my whole thing is to, when I talk to these girls, just by asking them simple questions, have them realize, hey, what am I doing in my life? Because you might make some money, okay, but for me, the most beautiful thing for a woman is that by the time, it's cool. By the time you're 40 or 50, nobody cares that you have a Gucci bag. Nobody cares that you have a nice car. If you don't have a family, you don't have kids, you're alone. And that's when you hit depression. That's what we're going to start seeing. Same in the States. In the States, with all these girls that believe, they're independent. I'm an independent woman, whatever. By the time they're 40, they're going to be what? Lonely. And they're going to be fucking depressed. So I wanted to open the mindset of a lot of females here in Medellin.
Thank you for sharing. And just one last question. So we are all about bringing community together that believes in mind, body, spirit connection.
Okay.
What would you give advice to people watching, to get in a good mindset and creating better habits for themselves and following their dreams? Maybe they're afraid to take that leap of faith. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I'll give them a little insight. So I spend a lot of money on entrepreneurship and mentors. I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to meet people like Dan Pena, Grant Cardone, to talk that one-on-one with them to see, hey, how can I achieve, my form of success, which is 80% of it translates to money. Okay, so how can I achieve that faster? So what I can say, what all these people have in common is that since the time they wake up, they're grateful. It doesn't matter how much little or how much you have, but you're grateful. So putting yourself in a state of gratitude. How do you put yourself in a state of gratitude? You put yourself in a state of gratitude by remembering how you felt for those little things that you used to be happy for. Like if you were a kid and you used to go to the beach with your parents and you felt so grateful because you love the beach. You got to remember that scenario as a first person. When I say as a first person, I'm talking about not as you watching yourself when you were a kid, but you putting yourself on that kid's body so you can feel that gratitude. Okay, so what I do every morning is I put myself in a state of gratitude. I do it for 3 minutes, 3 different scenarios, so that's 9 minutes. And then the last 3 minutes is something futuristic. So for example, hey, I want to have $3 billion in my bank account and I want to own, let's say, a couple apartment buildings, whatever it is, but I feel like I already have it. Okay, therefore that gratitude that I have had prior with the future, it connects with me. This is something that I learned from Tony Robbins, I learned from Dan Pena. They do this religiously. So you're able to attack and combat negative thoughts when you put yourself in a state of gratitude.
That resonates so much with me. I think just one last question, like when you're trying to get yourself in that state of gratitude, sometimes you don't believe it because it feels weird or like it doesn't feel real. Like how do you like get yourself to actually like live it?
So this is how I put myself in a state of gratitude. Okay, if I, like for example, I grew up in Peru with both of my parents, okay, till I was to the age of 9. So I remember every weekend I would go to the beach. Okay, so I remember loving the beach. So I remember, hey, the feeling that I got, just remembering that, the feeling that I got when I got to the beach, hey, you start changing your mindset. Why? Because you remember that feeling by putting that picture in your head. So it's, you have to exactly visualize it, feel it, go inside that body that felt that type of way and relive it. So that's how I put myself in state of gratitude. Now, obviously, it also has to do with your body positioning. So, for example, like I'll give you an example. Okay, think of something sad, and I'll do it for you. Think of something sad. Okay, now smile. Do a fake smile. Think of something sad without letting go of your smile. You can't. It doesn't go in. You see what I'm saying? So when I say think of something sad, once you see your video, you're gonna see your mind going down, and you're gonna start, you're gonna hunch back. Exactly. But if you smile purposely and you try to think of something sad, you can't. They don't go together. So whenever you're grateful, depression cannot exist. You know what I'm saying? So those simple things will literally change your mindset. But it's something that you have to practice. Like if you don't practice it, you might feel good for 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 months. If you don't practice it, even when you feel good, you eventually go back down to your habits.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
I'm sure they did.